The Modern Warfare 4 multiplayer reveal and beta kickoff this weekend, and honestly, there's a lot you should know before going into either or both of those events, and today, we're taking a look at all of it, all in one place for you, time-stamped and easy to access, for any of the topics you may have questions on. Drop your thoughts, drop a like, and make sure to subscribe for more Modern Warfare 4 and other FPS coverage. We've got an incredibly busy fall upcoming that I'd love to have in the community, and finally, check out my friends over at AdvancedGG, where code Espresso can get 10% off your entire order, but more on that later. For now, let's get into it. So first, this weekend is two events, one kickstarting the other. The multiplayer reveal of COD Next and the beta immediately to follow. To start, when is the multiplayer reveal? The first thing that we should know about here. Well, COD Next is the multiplayer reveal for Modern Warfare 4, year 5 of a community-driven and focused event where there's both a main feed and broadcast on the official Call of Duty socials, along with a large number of other creators from around the community streaming their perspectives of raw gameplay. The main broadcast usually goes in and out of developer interviews, segments, and other things to break down more context, while the creators are, after the point of starting, jumping right into games and only providing raw gameplay looks. If that interests you, you can find that starting at 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, 5 p.m. in the UK, and elsewhere on screen for easier conversions of time zones. Again, on both the main Call of Duty socials, and hey, shameless little plug here, if you'd like to hang out with me and chat about the gameplay as it happens, I'll be a part of this reveal as well, both live here on my YouTube and over on Twitch. Now, if you decide you want to watch the multiplayer reveal event, there are indeed some viewership rewards that can be earned by linking your Call of Duty and/or YouTube and Twitch accounts. From watching, you can earn an exclusive emblem, charm, and calling card just for checking out the event. Smaller, but hey, free. That said, when's the multiplayer beta though? When can you actually jump into the game? Previously, we've seen this happen where we had the multiplayer reveal the last 4 years, but then there was a day in between when you can actually check it out to actually jump in. That said, it's a little different this year. COD Next will be live for about 2 hours is my guess. There's no actual timeline that's been given just yet of like what to expect for the run of show, but as of recording this, it potentially could go longer. Some events have lasted 3 to 4 hours in years prior, but I'm personally not expecting that because the current slated time that servers will start opening up is 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, and 7 p.m. in the UK and elsewhere in the world by comparable time zones for the general player base here at this. Do note, though, that every single time this kind of stuff happens, there can be a slight delay in either rollout, server queue times, or any number of different things that the target is 11 a.m. Pacific, but it could be something that's like 11:07 a.m. Pacific, 11:32 a.m. So that stuff may have a minor difference there with that, but weekend 1 will then go until August 25th and conclude at 10 a.m. Pacific or potentially a little later as servers shut down. So 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. in the UK. Weekend 2 will kick back up then a couple of days later, again on the 28th at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. in the UK, and conclude finally on Tuesday, September 1st at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, and 6 p.m. in the UK. So you have a very good timeline of opportunity in which you could experience Modern Warfare 4 across the upcoming 2 weekends here, whether you have a code or you don't. That said, the multiplayer beta will be available on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, PC via Steam or BNet, or even Xbox PC Zap, and surprisingly, the Switch too, though that version's only a part of weekend 2 of the beta. But for the first time in, well, I think since what, Ghost, we will not see PlayStation 4 and Xbox One support of any kind. They have finally moved past the last generation here in prioritizing the development and the experience for the current and upcoming generations perhaps, but after all those years, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One have officially been sunset from the platforms of support for Call of Duty. So okay, we now know the basics of when and where you can play this, but how can you play the beta? Well, the multiplayer beta for weekend 1 is code specific, meaning you have to have a code to gain entry and play in the first couple of days here. The second weekend, when it kicks back up on the 28th, that's when it's open for everybody, so you don't have to worry about any sort of code or any limitation there at this. But to end up getting a code, you have to either obtain one from pre-order or pre-purchase, viewership rewards, or partnership promotions. So your pre-order and pre-purchase, that's pretty straightforward. You have to either pre-order or pre-purchase the game, either digitally or at a physical brick and mortar. If you get a physical brick and mortar, it will be something that actually prints out a code on your receipt, likely. Digital pre-purchases, it's usually banked just on your account, that it will let you have access to that. And then there are other ways to get it, like the viewership rewards from, say, COD Champs. That was something that if you watched on Twitch or other qualifying channels, you'd end up getting a beta code sent to your email with the associated account you were watching with. Discord also has this now available, where Discord Nitro users can end up getting a beta code. This, all you have to go to is the Nitro homepage, scroll down a little bit, and then you can unlock your beta code if you have the Discord Nitro subscription. And then Samsung apparently has something going on here at this, where with a recent partnership with them, players who have the Samsung promotional app will be able to get the opportunity to grab a beta code. This one I don't know too much about 100%. The wording kind of seems like it's a more random selection and not a simple sign up and sign in and it's yours, but another way to get those. And then again, the open beta, once you end up getting there in weekend 2, you just have to download it from your storefront of choice and jump in. Now, beta code distribution is something that, as of right now, codes have not quite been sent out to download the game itself. You've likely gotten a beta code if you have had one. If you have a code and don't know where to go with it, you have to end up taking qualifying codes to callofduty.com/beta redeem, input your information there, link any accounts necessary, and you're good to go. But that is the beta redemption code, that allowing you to have the actual registration into the beta. But as of the time of recording this, the actual download codes themselves, the things that will be applicable for the platform that you chose, either Xbox, PlayStation, PC via Steam, BNet, or the Xbox PC application, keep an eye out on your inbox for the actual code to download on that storefront of choice. That's still one thing that, as of recording this, is upcoming and has not necessarily been released, but coinciding with when you can preload the game, that starts 9 a.m. Pacific tomorrow, noon Eastern, 5 p.m. in the UK, or Thursday, August 20th, in case you're watching after the fact. So if you are watching after the fact, go ahead, get preloaded, download that game, get ready to go for the actual time that you can jump in. Now, there's a lot more to be said about this, but before we do, a quick heads up. As you may know, we've been partnering with my friends over at AdvancedGG, and we're going into a crazy busy fall with multiple large updates for games like Arc Raiders, the future seasons of Battlefield 6, and new launches in Modern Warfare 4 and GTA 6 and everything in between. So we as players, we're gonna need our energy to keep up. Advanced is the healthier energy supplement option. I use it daily as my comparable cup of coffee. Currently drinking the raspberry lemonade and magic rainbow sherbet as my 2 favorite flavors that I'd highly recommend. We actually co-branded a few things with Advanced, including an ice shaker and the rainbow sherbet, which I think actually recently sold out, which is really cool. So thanks for the love on that. But for real, I do love their stuff, and if you're looking for a replacement for your own cups of coffee, give this a try. If you decide to give it a go, code Espresso get 10% off your order, but absolutely no pressure at all. Just appreciate you checking out not only this, but the video as well. But anyways, next, let's talk a little bit about platform details in particular, because there is a little bit more to some of this than others. Console, it's plug and play. Pretty simple for you guys. Again, just gotta download it. When the time comes, you can jump in and play. The PC, there's a few things to be aware of. Number one, TMP 2.0 and Secure Boot is something that needs to be enabled. This is required for play in compliance with Ricochet anti-cheat. If you have those features enabled already, you're 100% fine, but if not, you have to enable them, to which they did put out an accompanying PC tutorial for that kind of stuff if you're not familiar with how to enable those. Though, if I'm not mistaken, any sort of recent hardware has this stuff enabled by default, so for a lot of people, this may not be an issue, especially if you've played Call of Duty in recent years, because this isn't something that's new or exclusive to Modern Warfare 4. PC specifications is also something we should run down here. Obviously, you need to be able to run the game if you have PC. They detailed minimum specifications of Windows 10, a Ryzen 5 1600 or i5 8400 CPU, those being from 2017, 12 gigabytes of RAM, GPUs of either the Radeon RX 470 or GTX 970/1060, those from 2016 and 2014 respectively, and only 3 gigabytes of VRAM. So granted, we're talking about minimum specifications. Anything newer and higher end will of course kick off closer to the better gaming experiences, but most of the tech that people will have today should likely be able to at least play Modern Warfare 4. Now on screen, you can also see the recommended specifications, and again, anything higher will just push you towards better graphics, frame rate, whatever the case you're working with. And finally, you'll also be able to preload shaders coming with the Modern Warfare 4 beta. So instead of just waiting around for your shaders to preload on a menu or something like that, you can actually get that done and out of the way while out of game too, which is pretty cool. But okay, that's like 9.5 minutes of like tech and stuff you should know before actually getting into the beta. Let's talk about the fun stuff now, the actual content itself. Modern Warfare 4's beta is going to be a little bit different than prior betas, because we're not only going to have multiplayer, we're gonna have a campaign mission, and also a little bit of Warzone as well between weekends 1 and weekends 2. So firstly, when it comes to weekend 1 and what we have up on deck, we're going to see a campaign mission available from the very beginning. Entitled Entrenched, this is going to be one that appears to have some close quarters combat, the battlefields of Korea, and from a pre-reveal briefing, kind of seems like this could be, pending no shift in how the actual levels themselves are put sequentially, it could be an Act 3 mission, meaning it's something that we see well into the campaign, but if they're showing it in the beta, it probably doesn't have as much stakes to the overall narrative and how the story sort of spoilers work out, but curious for sure. That'll be available in weekend 1 and in weekend 2. Multiplayer, of course, the big draw for most people likely. You're going to end up having the maps of Rooftop, Silkworm, Transit 213, Cachette, and Lotus across the multiplayer maps of Team Deathmatch, Domination, Hardpoint, Kill Confirmed, Inflation, and Search and Destroy. Now, that other flagship mode they've been showing off for a little while now of Kill Block, the sort of evolution of gunfight and what we see with that, that'll be available as well within the beta in both 3v3 and 10v10 capacities. Now, on top of that, we'll also see the mobility course, something that hasn't been publicly showcased just yet to my knowledge, but we did see a glimpse of this here in our pre-reveal briefing back in May or whenever it was. But it was basically like your FNG course from COD 4 and games we've seen that like in since, but with mobility and sort of parkour elements to it. So a more systems refining version of like Free Run or something like that. Weekend 2 then will come along with a bit more. Of course, you still have that campaign mission of Entrenched. You still have the maps of Rooftop, Silkworm, Transit 213, Cachette, but seemingly having Lotus swapped out then for a new map called Lithium. Kill Block again staying. Then we'll also see Ground War Combat Outpost introduced, which is the Modern Warfare 4 take on Ground War here at this. 2 maps of Farmland and Wolves Stadium coming along with that, and another new mode of Hijack. Now, beyond that, Warzone is actually going to have a spot within the second weekend, the open beta here from the 28th to the 1st. This is going to introduce the new Resurgence map, Zodiac, something that we saw previewed in the most recent From the Ward episode that just showcased a little bit of what was happening in the development at the studio, then was confirmed to be coming in this, and well, that's when we'll see our first actual look at the Warzone Resurgence map, likely coming within Season 1 here with this, because of when that integration will happen. The only other thing that stands out with Weekend 2 is that the game will be available for Nintendo Switch 2. So, very curious to see how that's going to perform, because up until this point, we haven't actually heard really anything about how that will look, specifications, nothing. So that'll be our first look at how that performs on a handheld/dockable platform. Now, weapons, we don't know exactly what's going to be available on offer here with it. That has not been mentioned just yet, but we do know that the Vault Edition rewards will be something that is available to equip onto your weapons and operators for the beta as well, like we've seen the last couple of years. So that at least gives us the idea of the Kastov 7.62 assault rifle, ISO Nightshade submachine gun, Resi 12 shotgun, Oris 8.6 marksman rifle, and the combat knife melee weapon that'll be available for you to at least use in that capacity. During the beta, you can end up actually earning a few things as well. Just for simply playing the game, hitting different level thresholds, you'll end up getting a few things first and foremost, which at level 4, you'll end up getting the Through the Paces legendary emblem. Level 8 is the First Served weapon charm. Level 12 is the Munjo legendary weapon sticker. Level 16 is the Last Charge legendary calling card. Level 20 is the Dread Tiger operator skin for Reese. Level 23 is the field tested epic spray. 26 is the Beta Rights epic loading screen. And 30 is the Beta Forged ISO Nightshade weapon blueprint, likely being the level cap as well for the overall beta itself. Now, we also end up seeing that you'll have some viewership rewards that have not quite been explicitly showcased just yet in terms of Twitch drops, but you'll end up having the Get Tactical emblem for 15 minutes of watch time, the Clearinghouse calling card for 30 minutes of watch time, and the Action Ready charm for 45 minutes of watch time. Not to be confused with the specific ones for Call of Duty Next, again as the Gas Ready emblem, Rapple Repel calling card, and Ghost Helmet charm. Those ones being exclusive for the broadcast for the reveal. Finally, it was mentioned that there are additional rewards coming in some capacity, where they said their default items immediately unlocked, like 3 emblems, calling cards, 1 spray, and 3 loading screens, but a classified reward for a classified challenge, combat record rewards for a classified weapon blueprint, emblem, and charm, and a classified challenge reward of, well, classified. So a couple of things that will make themselves known here and present in the actual gameplay itself, but very interesting to see, no less. Now, that is most of what we've had up until this point that we've seen for the beta itself. However, as of editing this, a few hours ago, a matchmaking announcement was made as well that will affect the multiplayer of the beta along with the launch of the game. It's not the best when it comes to what the community was asking for. We'll have further thoughts on this tomorrow, but I did want to at least address this slightly because obviously day of, and it will overshadow the rest of this video. More than likely, I'm sure that by the time you get to this point in the video, there's probably already comments about this, but this, what we see for most of this video, is pre-recorded and ready to go a little bit ago. However, as of today's update, basically what we'll see is the matchmaking for Modern Warfare 4 is a new but similar system in matchmaking to Black Ops 7 right now. Now, admittedly, I haven't played a ton of Black Ops 7 this year, just didn't have the spark for it as much. So that night and day difference of the open matchmaking to what we've seen in the most recent seasonal updates that I've seen people describe. I personally have had no true context on that, but I will say the open matchmaking, the system of lesser and lesser restrictions for the players, was something that I had personally wanted for ages, and I'm sure that a lot of you guys did as well. So it was nice to finally have that, but now to walk that back on data that was announced for just simply postseason of Black Ops 7 seems, well, I mean, I think it would have been a PR layup to just commit to open matchmaking instead of doing this 2 days before what we had with the excitement of the multiplayer reveal and the beta's kickoff as well. I've said before that DMZ is what I'm primarily interested in with Modern Warfare 4, so if I dislike the MP and what we see here at this, I'll be completely honest with you guys. Like, I won't play it if I'm not having a good time with it. I just personally don't think it's worth your time if you're not having fun with something in a game. So I'd suggest trying this out in the beta, seeing if it is for you, but at least in an announcement perspective, again, this could have been a layup, and they just dropped this right before the beta that very well could overshadow or leave a sour taste in players' mouths. I mean, like me. So anyways, that's what we can amend this video here at this. But as of the rest of this, the distinct differences with this beta compared to the others is, of course, the content that's playable. Having campaign, a mission there, and a Warzone Resurgence map in Weekends 1 and then Weekend 2 respectively is certainly a massive deviation from what we've seen in the past with betas. Of course, we did see that Black Ops 7 had the Zombies beta. We did have a Blackout beta that was separate from the multiplayer beta back in Black Ops 4. So, like, not the first time we've seen two things introduced for different game modes, but the first time we've seen 3 modes represented in the beta. So very curious how this will end up working out. And of course, then with the inclusion of Switch 2 on top of all of that, it's going to make for some interesting points of note for the beta itself. That said, though, some things to keep in mind here with this. Number one, experiences may vary. Of course, the beta is the first time we're all going to get hands-on gameplay with it, right? Some people may love it, some people may hate it. To each their own, dude. It's entirely up to you and what's subjective. I would highly recommend checking out the beta and making your own educated opinions based off your own feedback, because as I say many, many times, taking my word or another creator's word as gospel, I don't think it's the right move, man. I'm just an idiot with a microphone on the internet. I can't speak for your own personal interests in what you enjoy. So at least jump in, try it out, and see what you think of this when you get hands-on experience. And another thing to note is that progress does not carry over into the full game. So have fun, try everything out, play some different ways that you otherwise may not, and just try and get the most of the experience at hand if you are jumping in. Have a good time. And finally, remember to submit feedback. The interesting part about this, with the beta we have right now, it's the longest beta, if I'm not mistaken, that we've had from launch. Like, that window between the beta end and the game launch is one of the longer ones we've seen in COD history. So it's quite possible that we will have time for adequate feedback to be accounted for and taken into the actual development of the game. Whether or not they do that, that's entirely on Infinity Ward at that point. But the game won't be certified gold until a couple of weeks after the beta concludes. So getting ready for the game to launch, there is that window of actual change to be made. So be vocal about it on Twitter, Reddit, YouTube, wherever the case. But as always, remember to be constructive in your critiques. Just being like, this game sucks, do better, that doesn't help anybody. And oftentimes, if you're an asshole about stuff, developers just kind of tend to tune you out, as with most people with anything like that. So if you got ideas, feedback, again, present them in a constructive manner and try and get your ideas heard. Anyways, that is where we're going to wrap it up. So let me know your thoughts down below. What do you guys think of the beta here? Are you looking forward to jumping in, getting your hands-on experience with Modern Warfare 4? Not so much. Whatever the case, let me know. If you guys enjoyed the video, you found it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on it. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so almost a single thing regarding all things Modern Warfare 4. Again, gonna be live with a reveal here upcoming and beyond. Would love to have you guys in the community. But for now, thanks so much for watching. Mine has been Espresso. I'll see you later. Take care and peace.